I also have a little baby at home, and I just want to highlight what you said about voice being an unlock. If you have a child or something that takes your hands, being able to just talk and have work happen magically on your computer is one of the coolest things that I have ever seen in my life. And so, what is a monologue?
Use monologue.
Use monologue in every product. All right, I'm Hilary Gridley. I was recently the former head of core product and AI at Whoop, but I recently left because I am so excited about what AI can do for writing and teaching and learning and coaching. And today I'm going to talk to you about how it can unlock coaching at scale. So when I work with managers, I always try to remind them that the most leverage that you can get in your role is through your people, right? We know this, but a lot of the conversation around AI has to do with personal productivity. How can I go faster? How can I do more? And what I want to talk to you today is how we can use AI to help managers up-level the people in their organization. There's a lot of ways to do this, including some very high-tech agent-forward ones. But I'm going to tell you all about the simplest one that you all could do today. And that's building a custom GPT that will codify your standards so that you can scale your brain across an entire organization. Now, if you don't know what a custom GPT is, it's very simple. This might look familiar to you. This is just a standard chat window in ChatGPT. And in ChatGPT, you put an input in, you get an output out. So you can say, hey, can you help me make this email clearer? And it will do that however the model wants to. With a custom GPT, you can put in instructions that anybody who is using that GPT will get for anything they chat. So you can put in, give me feedback on this email, and then I, the maker of this custom GPT, have given it a set of instructions that will give feedback in the email, not the way the model wants to, but the way that I specifically would if it were someone on my team and I were giving them feedback on the person that they're trying to communicate with. And all of this is powered by a system prompt, which is just a set of instructions. You can read it in English. A person can follow this as well as a machine can follow it. So this is for a tool I made called the Executive Editor. As you can see here, it says it is a communications coach designed to help product managers write impactful emails to executives. And the way that it works is that it asks the AI to give an overall grade, and then to grade on a set of criteria that I, the maker of this GPT, have established. And that includes structure, clarity, level of detail. These are all the things that I'm thinking about when I'm editing someone's email for them. And the reason I made this is because I found that there were people on my team who weren't able to have the impact they wanted to have because their communications were not exec ready. And I did not want to spend my days editing their emails, right? They did not want to have to send all their emails through me in order to get something out the door. But there was a problem here. And so I built a tool that they could use on demand for any time they wanted to get feedback to improve an email that they were sending to the CEO to make sure that he could action it as quickly as possible and give them a green light. But I've made dozens of these tools. I have one that teaches people how to write called Wally the Writing Partner. I have one called Aristotle, which basically takes LSAT-style questions to teach critical reasoning, but gives people like situations that a product manager could face. So you can get really creative with these. But I like these simple ones. This is my executive editor. This is how it works. Alex is writing an email to Sam, the CEO, and he's giving an update on February launch timing. This email is fine, but I would not call it exec ready. And what do I mean by that? Well, the email is thoughtful, but it underserves an executive audience by being overly tentative and light on decision framing. When it comes to structure, I would say the key takeaway is buried. When it comes to clarity, I would say phrases like some challenges is too vague. And you can see it goes on from there. And even better, when I make these tools, I always try to make them in a way so that the person who's using them is better off as a result of using them afterward. So even if the tool goes away tomorrow, they're still a better writer because they have learned something from doing this. And so in this case, it takes their original words and explains how they could potentially rewrite. So you could say, instead of, I wanted to give you a quick heads up that we're running into some challenges, A rewrite for that could be, I want to flag a potential risk to our February launch. Clear, to the point. And it just goes through like this. And it gives these tips too. So for example, in this case, it says, the original was some of the work is more complicated than we initially anticipated. And the rewrite says, the primary drivers for this are 1 and 2. And then the explanation. Name the top 2 drivers only. This signals rigor without pulling the executive into the weeds. And it's really exciting for me because I would love if I could sit down and walk people through, hey, here's why I'm making every change that I'm making to the thing that you put in front of me. But again, I simply don't have the time. And so when people ask me, as they always do, like, is this really as good as what the manager would do? And I'll say with some of the latest models, there are things that the models are doing that are actually probably better than what I would do. But even in cases where I have some sort of institutional knowledge that the model might not have, or if I just have a very specific way that I want my team to do something, I say that this gives the kind of feedback that I wish I could give if I had unlimited time. But not only do I not have unlimited time, I have no time. I have negative time. And so this has been so amazing because they can get feedback that's probably 80% as good as what I would do, but they can get it over and over and over, and they can get it on demand. So they can get as many feedback reps as they want as they keep improving the email and making it better, instead of having to wait 3 days to hear back from me, and then by then it's time to go, go, go. So how do you build something like this? It's super easy. Like, I can't emphasize how easy it is. First, you tell the AI what you want to make. In this case, I'll walk you through this, but I said I want to make a custom GPT that will give people feedback on their emails. The second piece, decide on the evaluation criteria. If you are giving feedback on something, if you are evaluating some work that your team has done, what are the things that you are looking for in doing that? And by the way, the AI can help you with that, because that's hard to do. And then you say, all right, great, write a prompt. And then you paste that prompt into the GPT. Now, that second point around the criteria, as I said, if I were to ask you, think of a work product that you give feedback on a lot. What are the 3 things you're looking for when you're evaluating that? That might be hard for you to come up with on the top of your head. But AI is really good at this, because it's really good at spotting patterns. So you could upload a bunch of examples of things you think are good and say, what are the common points between this? And it will pull those out, and it will make those criteria. You could feed in writing that has shaped how you think. You could say, hey, I really like this blog post. I would love for this blog post to be applied to my team's work. And it will pull out the criteria. Or you can simply ask it what it thinks. That's what I do when I'm lazy. So here's the example. Again, plain English, just like Brandon's prompts. I'm creating a custom GPT where my team can upload emails they are working on to send to the CEO. Some things to call out. I say, all right, I'm sharing a doc where I've shared examples of emails that I think are really good, and a blog post that writes about good communication. Can you use those to extract 5 key evaluation criteria, and then explain to me what 1 looks like and what 5 looks like, right? What is bad, what is good? And then you're sort of calibrating this with your own sense. So this is what the GPT came back with. It suggested clarity of the core message. Can the CEO understand the point of the email in 10 seconds? This is what bad looks like. This is what good looks like. And it just goes through like that. I get it where I like it. And then I say, all right, write a prompt. Bada bing, there it is. And you can see this is the same as the prompt that I showed you earlier. It's just English. And so then we get to the final step, which is build the GPT. Now, build is maybe an overpower word for what this really is, which is copying and pasting. You go into the GPT screen in ChatGPT, click on Create. You'll see this screen. Paste. The magic of paste. In that box is where I pasted those system instructions. And then it's good to go. I have a tool now. This tool has been used tens of thousands of times because it helps people learn to do something that previously was just stuck in my head, that I didn't have the time. And so I want to leave you all with a question, which is, what if your entire company had the same knowledge as your most experienced managers? And not just had it like something they could read, but something they can actually apply to every single piece of work that they're doing. That is coaching at scale. Thank you all. Feel free to get in touch with me. I'd love to talk about this more with you. Have a good one.